everyone, it's Bishop again. Thanks for tuning in to part 2 of Google Search Console and your real estate site. Last time around we covered what Search Console is, along with how to create a CNAME record, add your site and verify ownership, and submit a sitemap. If you haven't done so yet, I highly recommend checking out the first part in our series so that you're all set up for using Google Search Console to improve the way your site appears in search results. Let's start with the sitemaps report. You can check the sitemaps report to see about any sitemaps which you have submitted for your property. We covered where to find your sitemap and how to submit it in part 1 of this series, so at this point you should have some data about your site in your Search Console. The sitemaps report shows your sitemap submission history, any errors that Google encountered when analyzing your submitted sitemaps, discovered URLs, and the status of the crawl. Next, let's look at the index coverage report. Indexing is the process of adding web pages into Google search. Google crawls your pages to compile a massive catalog of all the words it sees plus their location on each page. Google then indexes these pages so they can show up in the correct, most relevant search results. The index coverage report gives you an overview of all the pages Google has visited or tried to visit. The main page in the report groups your URLs by status. The first status is error. The page is not indexed, meaning it will not show up in search results. There are several reasons for this. Pages responding with a 404 and soft 404 pages, among other things. Common errors for a real estate site could include pages for a listing that has gone off the market, or a page for an open house which is passed, or there is the chance that this page was not found in error, and we can request reindexing. Next status is valid with warnings. These pages may or may not be shown in Google search results, depending on the issue. This status basically means this is an issue Google thinks you should look into. A good example is mobile usability issues. The third status is valid. The page is indexed and there's nothing you need to do. A page can be indexed whether submitted by your sitemap or not. For example, if you're an IDX Broker home client, by default, every WordPress post and page is indexed. Though keep in mind, when you add new content, it can take a few days for Google to index it. The last status is excluded. These pages are excluded from search results, whether by your choice or Google's choice. Possible reasons for exclusion include discovered or crawled, currently not indexed. Google knows about these pages but hasn't yet indexed them. You can always use the URL inspection tool and request indexing. Or no index. Google is following rules on the site such as no index tags in robots.txt, meta tags, or canonical tags which prevent the pages from getting indexed. We recommend checking the summary page of the index coverage report every once in a while. Your valid pages trend should remain steady with a gradual increase as your site grows. If you see drops or spikes, it's time to troubleshoot. This brings us to the URL inspection tool. When troubleshooting errors and issues on specific pages, the URL inspection tool is one of the most important tools you can leverage, as it offers the best visibility into why certain pages may not be appearing the way you want in Google search results. You can access this tool from the coverage report. You can also access it from the top search bar or the side navigation. After copying and pasting the full URL into the URL inspection tool and pressing enter, you'll see 3 different sections. The first is presence on Google. This section describes whether or not the URL can appear in Google search results, similar to the information in the coverage report. Second is coverage. This section describes the index status of the URL and the details of the indexing process. You can learn where and how your page was discovered, as well as a referring page. You can also see when your page was last crawled or if Google couldn't crawl your page. And finally, enhancements. This section describes any search enhancements detected by Google on your URL the last time it was indexed. If the URL could not be indexed or no enhancements were detected, this section will be empty. The most relevant enhancement for a real estate site is mobile usability. Luckily, IDX Broker is very mobile friendly. After reviewing the previous 3 sections, you can see that there are 3 main actions you can take. First, you can click Test Live URL. This will tell you whether or not your page can be indexed by Google. The test runs instantly, and this is a great way to see if your page has been fixed after making necessary changes. Second, you can request reindexing. Once you confirm that you have fixed any necessary errors, or you don't think that there were any errors to begin with, you can request that your inspected URL be reindexed by Google. Simply click Request Indexing on the inspection result page for the URL. If the page passes a quick check to test for immediate indexing errors, it will be submitted to the indexing queue. Indexing can take up to a week or two. You can check the progress using this tool. Keep in mind, you cannot request indexing if the page is considered to be non-indexable in the live test. Third, you can see more information about the tested page by clicking View Tested Page. The URL inspection tool is one of the most important tools in your toolbox, so make sure to use it often. Next, let's explore the performance report. The performance report offers valuable information about how your site performs in Google search results. The report shows how often your site comes up in search results, average position and how search traffic changes over time, click-through rate, also known as CTR, which pages have the highest and lowest CTRs, and valuable insights such as location of query and device type with your results. The information in the performance report is divided into 4 measurable metrics of data. First is clicks, the total number of times users have clicked from search results to your website. Next is impressions, the number of times your site appeared in search results, followed by the average click-through rate, which is the percentage of impressions which resulted in a click, and finally the average position of your site in search results. You can then filter your metrics by dimensions. Dimensions are the attributes of your data. They usually describe who did something or where it happened. The performance report is built out of 3 main elements. The chart. This is the most visual element. The most important thing to know about the chart is that you can choose which metrics you want to see. At IDX Broker, we typically focus on total clicks and total impressions. In order to see trends for the other metrics, simply click to add or remove them from the chart and the table. The table element allows you to break down your metrics according to possible dimensions: queries, pages, countries, devices, search appearance, and dates. Simply click each of those dimensions to see a table with the corresponding metrics. For example, if you click Devices, you will see what type of device the searches for your site came from: desktop, mobile, or tablet. When analyzing the performance data of your real estate site, the most important dimensions of the table will be queries and pages. You'll likely run into a few common but easily fixable issues. First, look for low click-through rates. If your number of impressions is significantly higher than your clicks for a specific query or page, you should create better titles and descriptions for your pages in order to make them more attractive in search results. Also, look for missing search queries. There are likely certain keywords or queries where you would expect to see your site, such as open house, for sale, or highly localized search terms like Springfield Golf Course Homes. If these queries don't appear, you may not have enough relevant content. We suggest that you add saved links, create community pages, or write a blog post on the subject. Finally, look for missing pages. If important pages on your site are not in the pages list, there might be an issue with them. In that case, you should use the URL inspection tool to find out why. The filter bar. This element is right above the chart towards the top of the page. This bar allows you to filter your data to include only what you need. For example, for a local real estate site, you probably don't need to include criteria from all countries. Click New to add an additional dimension to your data, select Country, and filter by United States. Check your performance report periodically and use this information to improve your site's search performance. And finally, let's take a look at the overview page. If nothing else, every month or so you should take a look at your Google Search Console overview page. This is the simplest way to get a quick yet comprehensive health check on your site. Use your overview page to see a summary of the most important data about your site, including performance, coverage, and enhancement metrics. As you explore and evaluate the information in Google Search Console, you will identify what parts of your real estate site are the strongest, which ones need improvement, and overall you'll gain a better understanding of your site's performance in Google search. This brings us to the end of our series. Thank you very much for your time. Please use the information covered in this series to help your business stand out in Google search results.